Call to order the Delaware County Commissioners meeting of Monday, June the 6th, 2022. It's now 9:02. Let's please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome. Could we please have roll call, please?
Mr. King,
Here.
Mr. Henry,
Here.
Ms. Reagan,
Present.
Mr. Burke,
Here.
Ms. Dunsmore, here. Ms. Smith, here.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Dunsmore. Welcome to the Commissioners meeting.
Thank you.
We have some tabled business. What's your pleasure?
I have not received the memorandum of understanding from that organization yet. I was emailing Dr. Whitty last night when I copied all of you on. And so I think leave it on the table till I see something.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Approval of the minutes, 16th and 19th.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes, thank you. And Mr. Howard is here for a presentation, I believe. Nate?
Good morning, Commissioners. Not really a presentation, really just more of an introduction. My name is Nate Howard. I'm now the Executive Director at the Land Bank. I've been working with Mr. Brook, learning a little bit about the different processes that you all have with regards to abandoned properties, vacant lots. Yeah, more than anything, I just want to say that, like, I'm the new director. We're interested in starting kind of a new conversation. And more than anything, listening, trying to understand what it is that you guys do and how we can contribute, if there's a role for us to play. So whether that's in this space or in another space, I'd love to get to know you a little bit, share a little bit more about who I am, and see if there's some type of collaboration. So
Well,
that's
welcome
really-
to Delaware County. And,
Thank you.
And I've been kind of involved from the get-go. When I was very impressed on Ohio, how many counties are in the state have land banks.
Yeah.
And one question I kind of had, when they developed it, they left the county kind of out of it.
Yeah.
Out in the county. Even though our property is here in Delaware City proper, we can give you. But so maybe we can talk about joining for the whole county sometime.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. I know that there's some legislation differences between Ohio and Indiana, and I think maybe that was the reason why it started that way, but I think everything is on the table. And I think, yeah, making the land bank be not just Muncie, but also Delaware County, if that's possible legally, is something we're very interested in.
Look into it. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Welcome again.
Thank you very much.
But by the way, Mr. Howard is from Muncie.
I'm from
Well,
Muncie,
good,
yeah.
good.
Born and raised.
We had a
Was
conversation.
gone for
but
20
I
years,
missed
and now I'm
that.
back. Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Contracts agreement for the community enhancement project, and Ms.
This is the
Moody's.
contract that was discussed with MARTA to take care of the area around the county building.
Right. And as you see, if you've got the, John put together the agreement. I forwarded that to Rick Ziegler, who's the president of Community Enhancement Projects, also known as CEP. And Rick signed that, and they're thrilled to move forward in this partnership with you. Last week, I sent out, we already have a bid for the raised beds on the north and west sides with J. Crew, but last week, I sent out requests for proposals for bids to fix the rain garden area. And so I gave them a couple of weeks to get back with me on that. And I also talked with Steve Foster, because I'll arrange for whoever does the work to coordinate with him, because he was wanting, like, his people to learn
Good
from
idea.
the process.
Yep,
So,
good idea. Well, thank you so much for all your work.
Make a motion, we approve the agreement.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you, Marta. Okay. Go down to the local roads matching grant. Ms. Moyer.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is the agreement with NDOT. We were recently awarded funding to replace a large structure on County Road 700 South, about 1,000 feet east of Honey Creek Road. They awarded us $95,955. So that's the 50% match.
Say that amount again, I'm sorry.
$95,955. Now, Sherry, this will come through digitally for signature. That's
Okay.
how NDOT's handling their contracts
Yes,
now.
that
But
makes
I
it-
wanted this to be in public record.
Yes, makes it very nice. How soon will that bridge or project start, do you know?
I'll have to go out for bid,
This-
so
okay.
hopefully
This-
this year we'll get it
this
done.
fall?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Very good, thank you. And the consolation agreement, Ms. Brooke.
Yes, this is an agreement with Constellation, and there's also one in here for CenterPoint. The CenterPoint Energy is the provider of the natural gas. Constellation helps consolidate it for the purpose of getting the county a better rate. Because of our status and our quantity, you can combine the rates, which could end up in a savings. We did this back in 2005 and 2006 between this building and the Justice Center, and it saved about $100,000 over 2 or 3 years just because of the rates are different because of the quantities. So they want to start this up again with regard to the Justice Center out there on South Tillotson and some of the other buildings. They've got it now that they can do it at other facilities rather than combined like we did before.
I'll make a motion to accept the agreement from Constellation and also the one from CenterPoint Energy Gas Services. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you, John. Okay, ordinances for first reading, ordinance number 2022-00, or 011, creating a new fund for the maintenance funds received by the Delaware County Emergency Medical Service Department. Who wants to speak on that behalf?
This is create a fund for the emergency management and EMS for a vehicle. The state District 6 is going to lease the box truck and pay the county $5,000 a year to lease that to be used in case of disasters. And the money can only be used for maintenance of that vehicle, so a fund needs to be set up in the auditor's office to put that money in, non-reverting fund, so then it can be drawn out by EMA and the EMS to repair that vehicle. Did I get it right, Megan?
Yes. And I'm requesting, Commissioners, if we could suspend the rules on this and get this done, because I've got a check that's going to be coming in from them that has to be written and deposited by the end of the month, according to the guidelines.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 2022-011. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
I make a motion we suspend the rules. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
I'll make a motion we adopt the ordinance. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Oh, Park 1, I'm sorry. Thank you. I missed, under contracts, Park 1 project. And so Mr. Bookout's
Yes.
here. Let's go back, please.
Yeah, no problem. Brad, you want to go ahead?
I'm happy to, either way. Good morning, Commissioners. Before you is the termination agreement with Good Industries for their work on the rail spur. With the passing of the business development manager at Good, they've requested termination of the agreement. The agreement includes a $5,000 payment to the county. Mr. Walters and I are working now, along with Attorney Brooke, with another provider to take over the work on the spurs. So we request your termination at this time and hope to have some good news here soon with another provider.
This will go back in the edit fund that it came out of.
Yes, it could go to edit or TIF.
Or go into, like,
It should go back into the TIF fund where it came
TIF,
from.
the
Yeah.
TIF.
Because that's where it's paid
TIF
out
has,
of.
TIF has funded the majority of work out there.
They've
Yes.
done most of the work out there. Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
Actually, I have the check in my office. I forgot to bring it over this morning, so,
Do we need a motion to approve the termination agreement?
yes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you, Brian.
He's very nice.
Okay. Ordinance number 2022-012, accepting the roads constructed into Delaware County in Country Village, Section T. Marta, want to speak on this behalf, or Angie, Ms. Moore?
So, Marta Moody, Executive Director, Plan Commission, and this, we're sort of at the final stages of the development of Country Village Section T, which is the last section out in the Country Village subdivision, and this involves a change in developers. Actually, this is probably the third change in developers because this started like in the early 2000s. And Century Complete, basically a home building company, took over the project from Partuck and Richard Case. So they've been working with the county, with Angie Moyer and John Brook and myself, to do what needed to be done in order to complete the development. They're more of a home builder company than a developer company, so there's been a lot of questions along the way that we've gone through. They had E&B completed the road work that was needed out there. And they also completed some drainage work that was needed out there. There's some question, I understand, about who's responsible for street signs. And a developer is responsible for street signs. And like I say, I think that goes back to the fact that they're more home builders than developers, and so these questions come up. So Angie and I will continue to work with them to say that there are things that need to be done. I know since this is a section of Country Village that's been in the works for almost 20 years, basically, there are restrictions that are in place for Country Village Section T that when it was originally approved way back in 2003 or whenever it was. And I know that the existing residents in Country Village have some concerns about how the new section will blend with the previous sections. And since this is Section T, you can see there have been a lot of sections in Country Village. It's the largest subdivision really in the county. And I think I might let the president of the neighborhood association talk to you a little bit about that, but they have concerns about there's street lights out there, there's road plowing, and some other issues that the neighborhood has taken care of rather than have the county do that. And he's just concerned that this new section will join in the program, I guess you'd say, so that the existing residents in Country Village are not penalized with the new development that's going in. So Anyway, this is before you for acceptance of the roads. When you get to the final point where the roads are complete, they've been inspected, and they're ready to be accepted, we require the developer to provide a maintenance bond so that for 1 or 2 years, in this case 2 years, they would be responsible for any correction of failures, like if a pothole appears or whatever, that the developer is responsible to fix that, not the county. And then after 2 years, the county's fully responsible. It's my understanding, when talking with Angie Moyer, that they've not yet provided that maintenance bond. So at this point, there's time, because you could introduce the ordinance at this point, and then we can continue to work with the developer on the maintenance bond issue, and hopefully solve that by the next meeting in 2 weeks.
Well, we'll keep,
I don't have a problem with introducing it, but I'm not going to vote to pass it until we have the maintenance bond.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
and
might-
that's-
you might let them know that.
yeah, we could, let Mr. Brooks send them a letter and tell them that our next meeting, if it's not ready, we won't accept it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So I'll make a motion, we introduce ordinance 2022-012.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Marta, I've got a question. Those questions from Country Village, aren't those better addressed to the developer themselves as to coordinating the snow plowing and the streetlights and all that sort of thing?
Well, yes, I think that it's something that will take that kind of coordination and coordination with the new homeowners, because they've already sold some of the homes that have been built. And I think, since Mitch raised his hand, he might want to mention something about that. But yes, it's not necessarily something that the commissioners can totally solve it. It's going to take coordination.
Right, I didn't, it's either the subdivision committee or some other committee. I don't think it's really 100% within the purview of the commissioners to solve that particular issue or answer those questions, right?
Why don't we let Mr. Isaac come up and, because I was not aware that we weren't doing the snowplow out there.
We're not.
No plowing.
I think that they're not. You're not. The homeowners are.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marta. Mitch Isaacs, 8501 North Yellowstone Drive, board member now for Country Village. Our new president, Amanda Kishnell, is here. Yeah. So you're right, John. I don't really know what the commissioners can do here. I'm asking if you can do anything, because we've tried multiple times. I can show you pages and pages of texts where we've requested meetings with the developer to talk through these things, and it's always, sure, we'll talk with you, sure, we'll talk with you. The only time we've ever gotten traction with them is when you all have stepped in. Commissioner Henry might remember, because he was particularly helpful about getting a construction path set and making sure that their roads weren't damaging the newly paved roads that you've helped install. So we want to have that conversation. I agree, Mr. Brook, that we have a role to play in that, and we'd be happy to play that role, but we can't talk to people who won't actually sit down and talk with us. And so my hope would be that working with just maybe an encouragement from the commissioner, or, Marta's been great, her office is always great, a nudge, anything that you all feel like you can do and is appropriate to do, just to help us answer these questions. Because as Marta said, this is a home builder, one that doesn't really have a great reputation in Delaware County, quite frankly. They're not a developer. They're not used to working with communities. Their concern is they're a corporation. They're here to make money, and I respect that, but we're concerned about our community.
Sure.
And you all have been really great partners out in Country Village the last few years with our paving plan and our drainage, and, thank you for your donation to our pool project. We've reached that goal, and so we wouldn't have done that without you. So there's a lot of good things happening in Country Village, and we don't want to lose momentum. 50 new homes is a huge development, and with a developer who isn't really a developer and who doesn't have a history of working with communities, we want to have a partnership. We want to answer the questions. If you can help us, I don't know if you can, we'd appreciate it.
Well, Marta, you only allowed 10 permits, right? Current?
There was a development agreement that the commissioners signed with the company, and it was set up, it was like a graduated development agreement where they get so many permits, and then after they completed the drainage, they got 10 more. Now, with the acceptance of the streets, that is the completion of the conditions of the development agreement, and that would allow them to obtain the remainder of the permits that are out there. So,
So they're up to 20
yeah,
right now.
And people have moved in too.
yeah.
So we're just asking for some help
Sure.
before you let the project, because once you say yes, then there's really no more leverage. You know, they're going to do what they're going to do, whether that's work with us or not. And so when there's still an opportunity to maybe get their attention is all I'm asking.
Have you reached out to any of the new homeowners, invited them to your meetings?
Not
Had
yet.
any discussion with any of them that's moved in? I would personally want to start with the new homeowners that's coming in, invite them to your meetings, explain to them what you guys, the snow plowing, the pool, all the concerns that you guys have, because once they move in, there's where I would want to start, is with the people that's moving in to that, because really, we can't force people to pay in to help with the plowing. We can't force people to pay in to your pool. So I would actually reach out to the people that's moving in, that you guys actually want to join your neighborhood association to help with that. There's where I would probably start, Mitch.
Well, and Commissioner King, that's a great suggestion. We do have a welcoming committee, and so that welcoming committee 2 or 3 times a year looks at Beacon. We didn't know people were moving in until we actually saw, I saw somebody with a car in the driveway just this past weekend. So we don't know when people are moving in. We don't know when homes are getting sold, because there's really no communication from the home builder. And so we do that regardless of where somebody moves in Country Village. The challenge is when you have just a small number of homes built at a time and you've got a lot of road to plow, right? So the 2 or 3 homeowners can't pay for plowing that whole section of road. 2 or 3 homeowners, because they're moving in a graduated rate, can't pay for streetlights and those kinds of things. So that's what I'm wondering about, is that in-between period. When the homes are there and there's needed services, but there aren't enough homeowners yet to actually fill to pay, it's kind of it's a gray area. As I see it, I don't know legally if there's anything we can do, but that's how I've been looking at it.
Because I don't think we can force the company to do that. Correct, John?
No. Not unless there's,
Or even the homeowners?
yeah.
To do anything.
Well, and to be clear, I'm not asking you to force anything.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you to maybe talk to them, see if you can say, hey, we would really like for you to work with the neighborhood. So we're just trying to get them to sit down and talk with us. They'll return text messages, but they'll never actually meet. I mean, the thing is, as Marta pointed out, we are the largest subdivision in the county, and legally they can come in and they can do whatever they want. I wish we had known before it was approved, so we could have raised some of these questions. We didn't. So we're trying to do what we can now, whatever that is.
Well,
Brad, could you maybe try to make contact with that company and see if they can get something set up with the,
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
you mind doing that
Yeah.
on
I'm
behalf
happy
of
to do
the
that.
commissioners?
We
I
can
could
work on
include
that
that in my
separately.
letter to them about for approval of the roads. That
Absolutely.
they need the maintenance bond, and commissioners would like for you to reach out to the neighborhood association.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brad, if you don't mind
Yeah.
hitting them too.
I'll
then-
I'll make the phone call and,
Okay.
talk them through that and let them
Okay.
know that this is happening and
Yeah.
to expect some communication.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's all we were asking for. Thank you very much. Really
thank you, Mitch. Fred. Okay. Resolution for approval, resolution number 2022-009.
This is a resolution approving the State Road 32 Economic Development Area, which is east of Muncie out towards Selma. It was introduced by the Redevelopment Commission back in March, approved by the Plan Commission in May, and then it comes to the Board of Commissioners, and then the Redevelopment Commission conducts a public hearing on the 9th for the final approval. So this is part of the process of the approval of this new economic development area.
And John, I did mean to tell you this morning, I was kind of curious why it wasn't typed in State Road 32 East.
Because the economic development area document itself identifies the area as east of Muncie. It was never part of the title before, because when they adopt the economic development area, they've got to identify that and create maps. And that was all done at the redevelopment commission back in March, and then again in May,
Okay.
when the plan commission reviewed it.
I was just curious. Thank you. What's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you. Resolution 2022-010 for the Board of Commissioners identifying certain properties to be transferred to a nonprofit.
This is the process to start the transfer of real estate to conduct a public hearing. The Muncie Land Bank identified a number of properties which are included in this, 7 of them, that were on the last tax sale in October. They didn't sell at the tax sale and they remain there. So this would be the formal process for starting to move the tax sale certificates to the Muncie Land Bank.
What's your pleasure?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you. Any department heads or elected officials today? Ms. McCammon?
Hi, Pam McCammon, Human Resource Director. I just wanted to remind everyone, we're having a job fair this Wednesday out at the fairgrounds. It's from 10 to 12, and it's in the John Wright Pavilion. There'll be signs on how to get there. We've got several departments coming. I hope we have a big turnout. That's what and it's going to be rain or shine because we're under the pavilion.
Very good.
So, that's all I'm hoping. We have more people than
10 to 12 or 10 to 2?
10 to 2, I'm sorry.
10 to 2. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks for putting that
No
together.
problem, no
Appreciate it.
problem.
Anybody else? We have the Weights and Measures Monthly Report. Payment of claims of $2,497,612.22, and the payment of the ARP claims of $269,913.73.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the claims with the exception of is it the JDAI grant? Is that correct?
That line item.
Yeah, the JDAI, there is some questions that
This one right there.
I have, and I think John's going to take a look at it.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Okay. Time for the public's questions, discussions. John, do we have anything on Facebook?
No, nothing.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to recess.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you very much.